It has been a very long time. I was about to say ladies and gentlemen, but that is a theme that is stolen by, or sorry, not stolen by, but taken by a different creator. I was having a hard time wanting to open up and finally make this kind of video because it's been a long time since I have actually made YouTube videos and just have taken the time to sit down and edit and do things like that. But I've always sort of had that itch. I mean, that was the reason why when I first started making YouTube videos almost 10 years ago, why I liked doing it and why I thought it was fun was because it was just something that I always wanted to do. I've always liked the concept of being a content creator, which isn't that very special in the grand scheme of things because a lot of people have that goal and ambition, but whether or not it becomes successful or not long term, I just enjoy the activity of doing it. I like contributing in a way. I like having something to do and look forward to. That was the whole reason why I got to doing it in the first place. And it was fun building an audience, some people that I could connect with and be close to. And overall, I miss it. I unfortunately can't sit here and guarantee that things will ever be back to the way they were, where I was consistently uploading, considering a lot of my personal lives and personal matters that I've been taking care of mostly refer to me going back and doing streaming instead. I just find it a lot more convenient. I know that kind of sounds lazy, but if I can pump out quote unquote more content streaming versus making videos in a timely manner, then I think of it as a win. And plus I do enjoy sitting down and playing games. That was one of the big detractors for me, and the reason why I stopped making videos for such a long time was just because, especially when I became an adult and it was a lot less convenient for me to want to make content and be able to sit down and do it. The problem was, spending 20 to 30 minutes sitting and recording my voice whenever I would make my commentary videos, and then I would always spend about 20 to 30 minutes editing, and then I'd spend 20 to 30 minutes rendering, spending 20 to 30 minutes uploading, spending 20 to 30 minutes of just making a thumbnail. Pretty much there was just a very small percentage of it was actually, I guess, creating the content, and then the rest of it was perfecting it or just improving on what I just made. So if I ever needed to want to put some extra effort into the video, it would take me a lot more time instead of just, cut commentaries. I remember when I first started, that was really popular back in the day. I know I took a lot of inspiration from people like FaZe Rain and stuff like that, and I just think overall that got, for me personally, a little lazy. I wanted to put more emphasis on what I do, but the problem is that would require me to go a lot of out of my way with the little time that I have in order to do things like that, which was why I ultimately just kind of gave up on it. I remember at one point, maybe some of you saw it, I only had it uploaded for like maybe a day or two. It only got like a few views, but it was pretty much talking about me completely moving off of making YouTube videos entirely. Not that I even was making videos at that time anyways, but I just wanted to, make an official statement saying that I no longer will be making videos. But then I immediately was thinking about it with regret, and I was thinking that I don't want to close that door. Not just yet. And I want to continue making content, whether it's streaming and or making YouTube videos. I think from this point on, I can definitely say that I prefer streaming just because of the convenience and the allowance that I have with it, considering I have a dual stream setup. And I know I had a trend on my YouTube channel for quite a few years. I just enjoyed doing yearly updates with my setups, but I kind of fell off given personal life and personal matters and just overall constantly moving the setup around. I just didn't have the energy or the willpower to do it. But I'll probably put on screen at some point my setup because I just recently took a video on it and I'm pretty happy with the results. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, I don't mean for this to be an ad, but I mean, I guess it's considered an ad. But I did start streaming pretty heavily over the past couple of years. That's where most of my time and energy went into. And the problem with me for streaming was that I really wanted to be able to have a platform where I can stream without it affecting my gaming performance, because I'm one of those little nerds who feel every frame, whenever I notice that there's some hitching or there's some input lag involved with streaming. That was one reason why I didn't like doing it at first. Pretty much, yeah, probably was about 3 years ago. That was when I got my first secondary PC, and I always thought that was like some sort of dream that I would never be able to accomplish, was having two PCs. But it was definitely a struggle in learning how dual PC streaming worked and how to configure everything and how to set it up. And I mean, even to this day, I've been having some difficulties. I mean, if you've been aware of or are in my Discord or have seen me in streams by chance, I've been having a lot of computer issues since February of this year because I built 2 new PCs, and yeah, pretty much then it's been a little bit of a mess, but I'm finally getting everything situated, finally getting things under control. I'm just looking to be able to open up my games and have them play and operate as they're supposed to. Yeah, it was definitely a struggle over the past few years to get my setup how I want it and getting everything comfortable and pretty much making it enjoyable too. I definitely want to, at some point, I would like to get a Elgato, the 4K webcam, instead of this 1080p. I do have 2 of them, which I'll show you right now. I love to use like mouse cams and stuff in my streams. I think it's cool. Obviously just a personal thing, but I would like to put a little bit more time into making videos on the side. Definitely not as frequently as me streaming, because I do stream if I can pretty much every day, whether it's for a few hours or like when it's my weekend, like right now. I can stream usually between 6 to 12 hours. Typically I like to go to the higher end. I just like gaming. I like talking with people. I like socializing. It's a lot easier and I think more personal when it's on a stream versus on YouTube, because you're just watching a recorded, edited bit of me. Yeah, I would like to get a new webcam, because this main one is 1080p, and probably on video you can definitely see the static effect that it has. I don't really care about my keyboard and mouse cam being 1080p. You don't usually see it unless I'm actively streaming. Like, this is pretty much how the template looks. When it's up close and personal, like what I'm trying to do right now, you can definitely see the static effect, which isn't very pleasant. So that's definitely something I want to improve on with my setup, and especially if I plan on making more content in the future. I was having a hard time getting myself into the idea of doing face cam videos again, or just in general having my face up from this high of an angle, because I just thought it was a little less personal. But with my setup and how it looks, it's kind of hard for me to get a camera that's up front and personal. I guess, like I said, from that prior creator, Mudahar, he has a similar webcam setup and he's quite popular, so it looks like it doesn't bother people anyways. So that was one thing that convinced me to finally sit down and make this video and actually put in the time and effort to be able to talk to you guys, give you guys a little bit of an update over the past few years. Yeah, it is nice to sit down. It's nice to just relax and just be able to talk to you guys on a more personal level, just like I used to, which I think that is one thing that a lot of people tend to enjoy about creators and stuff, is finding somebody that they can relate with and somebody that they want to have a close enough relationship with them to feel like, you know, you are a part of their life. And that's what I've always enjoyed about content creation and stuff. And it's really ironic coming from me, considering I am definitely not the social type, especially when it comes to like social medias and stuff. I have social medias, but I don't use them. And if I do, it's very infrequent, like maybe a few minutes per day, just to go through stories and just clear that shit off my feed. Yeah, just something about making content, whether it's streaming or making videos, that's just always been a passion of mine. And it definitely passes the boundary that I do have for my own personal sake, you know, just the inability to enjoy social media. Because for me, a big thing for me is I've grown, especially over the years. I don't like to give out my opinion on anything unless it's something that I'm passionate about. I mean, I've always, I guess, kind of had an opinion, and I've always kind of showed it in my old videos, but it came from a place of arrogance and also just a place of just the lack of knowledge on the subject. So unless it's like something that I play a lot, or, you know, I'm very passionate about, you'll pretty much never see me give an input on it. Or like for politics, for example, I know nothing about politics. I couldn't care less about learning about politics. It's just toxic in my personal opinion. You know, here I am talking about, I don't give out my opinion that much, but then 3 seconds later I'm saying in my opinion. But for me, I guess that's definitely a wider or more broad example. Like, that's not really pertaining to what affects me in my daily life. Just in general, like, I don't like having an opinion or a public opinion on something when I don't know anything about it, or not a whole lot about it. That's definitely my own personal thing. I know it makes sense to some of you, and I know that my way of thinking makes sense, at least for me. And I'm happy with how I am. But I've just kind of, especially with the lack of making YouTube videos and making it as like a sit down video and sitting and talking, it's hard to do it because I have this massive fear that, I guess I wouldn't really call it a fear, but I definitely have this problem where I am afraid that I am going to say the wrong thing or say something controversial. And I pretty much just gotten in my head over the years, which is probably another reason why I focused more on streaming, was just being able to just play something and just react to it versus, you know, sitting here and blindly speaking about something or making a sit down topic. But I'm leaning into this conversation a little bit because there is a video that I've been wanting to make for pretty much a couple years at this point now. And for those of you that don't know me, I am pretty much a diehard Monster Cat fan. I definitely find myself, you know, being one of the biggest fans. And I've had a couple attempts where I sat down and I tried to talk about it, and I tried to pretty much give my thoughts and opinions on it, because that is something that I'm very passionate about. And for those of you that aren't into EDM music or into Monster Cat, or just don't know anything about Monster Cat or EDM, but Monster Cat was this music label, or sorry, is this music label that produces music just like any other label, but they used to have pretty much a catalog of music, which every few months or so they would release compilation albums. And with those compilation albums, they pretty much would tell a little bit of a story. So not only was there like 30 to 50 tracks that would release per album, but there was always like a little extra bit of a story with it involved. So it was one reason why I was really into and really passionate about the music. And at a time where I needed it most, I wanted something to look forward to in life. And it was definitely something that I'm very passionate about, given all the clothes behind me. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars on their clothes. I've spent a couple grand on their music. Like, I like supporting the album, or sorry, the label, and I love supporting the community behind it. But there's just been so many changes over the past couple of years, more like few years, because they were planning this long beforehand. But I personally don't like the state of it, what it's in right now, and I don't think it's ever going to go back. But I know a lot of people have made videos on it or have talked about it, whether it's in Reddit or on their own videos, and just being upset about the way that things are going. And I, along a lot of other people, are passionate about the label. We definitely want things to go back to the way they were, and that's not necessarily in a nostalgic point of view, like, oh man, I miss what we had. It's just, they always preach, and it's always at the bottom of the video at the end of the end screen, and it talks about like, we power innovation with our community, or something along those lines. I'd have to look it up, but that would be something that I'd go more in depth into with the video anyways. But they just talk about all this like innovation, but it feels like they just follow or followed the trend of every label nowadays, just throwing out music left and right and releasing merch, and pretty much that's about it. We don't get albums anymore, we just have singles. And on top of that, like I said, they just release music 5 days a week, which isn't a bad thing, but again, it's just music after music after music. There's no albums, there's nothing else to look forward to aside from the daily songs. And because there is so much music, at the same time, it's harder to keep track and keep up to date. Like, I remember when I was in high school and I was first listening to Monster Cat, and pretty much they would release music Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I remember going home every day from school, and that would be the first thing I would do, is I'd go and listen to the 3 to 5 minute song and be super excited, because I'm like, oh yes, I can't wait for this to come out on the album. Just in general, things are different, and it's something that I'm super passionate about, and I've been wanting to make a video. But at the same time, which, I mean, even if I am afraid of it, I definitely will release it at some point, just because it's been on my mind for so many years at this point. I definitely want to make a video on it, and I definitely want to give my point of view. I don't care if it bothers people, but I definitely never want to make content that comes across as attacking. With that in mind, when I sit there and I think about making the video, I just think about how someone's going to think that I'm insulting the album, or someone's going to think that I'm insulting the label, or somebody's going to think I'm insulting anything and make it into a bigger problem than it actually is. But in reality, it's just coming from a very passionate person, a very passionate fan, a very passionate EDM enjoyer, a very passionate just human being who cares a lot about this kind of stuff. And it would just be nice to, out of all the things in the world and out of all of the opinions that I don't have, it is one that I'm very strong of and fond of, and I would like to talk about it. That way, again, when it comes back to the whole making YouTube videos and being on a relation level with you guys, and you know, you guys being able to look, I wouldn't say look up to me, please don't look up to me, but pretty much can sit there and agree with things that I say, or understand the passion that comes behind what I'm saying. You know, that's definitely what I'm looking for, and I know that there's other people out there that will feel the same way about me, especially in terms of Monster Cat as a whole. Yeah, I've got a few things on my mind. I've got a few things that I want to talk about, and just in general, I would like to get back into making videos. And with that being said, I have moved a lot of my videos, or a lot of my content, into VODs, because that's what I do, is I stream. So I just upload the raw VODs over to my other channel, because I didn't want to, you know, fill up this channel with slop that you guys probably don't want to watch. Because that's one thing that I've always understood and know about creators, is that when you subscribe and follow somebody, you're watching and want to watch things that you like about that channel and about that person. You're not necessarily looking for variety, which variety isn't always a bad thing, but I know that you guys want shorter-ish videos or more in-depth videos versus my 2 to 10 hour VODs of me gaming. You know, I have a plan, I have direction in mind, and at the same time, though, I would like to know your guys' thoughts, if you guys are still fans of the channel and you definitely have missed seeing me upload and stuff like that. I know that there's a lot that can be done and a lot that can be said. I'm just looking to hear back from some of you. You know, if you guys want to see more from me, or you guys have any ideas in mind, I definitely will consider them. Please don't, if you do have an idea and I don't end up doing it, don't take it as, you know, I don't care, or that I didn't listen. I just have a specific formula that I as a human like to do. And aside from this Monster Cat video that I want to make someday, I don't expect to ever become any sort of, you know, Sunny V2 ripoff or something like that, or just somebody who makes content outside of my general means. Because at the end of the day, I'm a pretty laid back dude. I'm a pretty repetitious guy. I just like gaming. I like talking. I like being funny. I like conversing with fans and people who enjoy listening or talking to me. And that's mostly at the end of the day what I'm looking for. But whether you stopped watching or you're never gonna, you don't see this anyways, you know, and you just know that you were a fan of me before, I do appreciate the support, and I definitely do appreciate and love what I've grown for as a human over the past decade or so when I did start making videos or just creating content in general. I appreciate everything that I have gone through, and I appreciate everything that you guys have gone through with me and just have listened to me and talked to me and supported me, whether it's watching a video, liking, subscribing, you know, pretty much anything. I appreciate anything and everything. And that was one thing that I've always that's bothered me over the past couple of years, you know, with the lack of making videos or actually putting in effort in making videos. It's just, I do definitely think that long term I will be more focused on streaming. That's just more convenient for my own personal life. But aside from that, just making videos on the side or occasionally making videos would just be a fun thing for me. You know, again, going back to my old roots as a content creator. I know anybody can be a content creator these days. I mean, but just in general, I miss doing this. I missed being a person on YouTube. I also missed just being here. I missed my fans. I missed sitting down, editing. I missed talking to everybody, and I'm hoping I can get back into it again. But, you know, at the end of the day, I just am my own person. I'm just a human being, just living life just like everybody else. And I definitely want to see where my future takes me, and whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's on both, because I would like to multi-stream again on YouTube and Twitch since they re-allowed it. That might be later down the road. We'll see though. I'm still considering all my options and just kind of going with things as they come. If you ended up watching all the way through this, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for the support. You guys are awesome. And I hope to see you in future streams. I also hope to see you in future videos. Please always feel free to reach out. I typically always respond to comments because I don't get a lot, and that's not me complaining or anything. That's just me saying that I, for the most part, will not miss a comment. So I'm just glad that I've had a pretty satisfying life in my own personal opinion. I'm happy with where I am. I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy where everything's going to lead me to. But I wish you all the best. I hope life's been treating you guys as well as it has for me. And I hope to hear from you guys. And I hope to just overall, you know, I wish nothing but the best for everybody. And I wish everybody to be happy and content. With that being said, I hope to make a new video soon. And give me ideas, talk to me. Or if you're just excited for more stuff, then that's awesome. Until next time, guys, take care. Love yourselves. And I'll see you soon.